Hey, world. It's Wednesday night, so you already know. It's the BingeWorthy Podcast. Hello, Bingies. Welcome to the BingeWorthy Podcast, part of the Geekish Network. As you can see, my background is the big ticket because this is the hottest place in the world that you want to be, and it's the big ticket, the main event, the big draw. The premise of our show is that during the week, we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to the Binge Worthy Podcast to provide you with an insightful, in-depth, and always entertaining analysis about that series. And then at the end of the Binge Worthy Podcast, we rate that show based on our unique binge worthy scale. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I have three extraordinary co-hosts. My first co-host is the insightful, the captivating, the alluring. She is an actor, a writer, entertaining extraordinaire, the dynamic diva, the one and only, the original, Miss Cortney Scott Wright. Say hello to the people, Cortney.
Hello, hello.
I just want to go.
And my next co-host is always chilling, relaxing on any part of the Milky Way all across the galaxy. He is the Mr. Jet Setter Fresh himself. I call him the Sultan of Flexing. He's one half owner of the Geekish Network. Say hello to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone?
All right. And there are just some people you need to get in good with, right? It's safer to be that way. This next guy, he is an actor. He's just a badass. He is internationally recognized and globally respected. I call him the game spitter because every day on Geek Beats and right here at the BingeWorthy Podcast, he is spitting that fire. Say hello to the people, Syntell.
Yo, what's cracking, man? Yo, I need you for my early morning inspirationals, my guy. Yo, I love it.
I know it, right?
Let's go.
And everybody, together, we are the BingeWorthy Podcast.
Woo.
Man, how's everybody doing?
We're doing good. Can I tell them what we're watching today?
Tell them, please.
Today, we are talking about Sweet Tooth, which is why I am all decked out in my horns extraordinaire to Senor Sweet Tooth.
Nice. So to elaborate a little bit on that, the premise of Sweet Tooth is 10 years ago, the Great Crumble, a virus, killed many people in the world and led them to the mysterious emergence of hybrid babies born part human, part animal. The reason for Courtney's horns. Unsure if hybrids are the cause or the result of the virus, many humans fear and hunt them. Gus, a half-deer hybrid, lives in the wilderness with his father, who died of the virus when Gus is 9 years old. Gus discovers a box with what he believes is a picture of his mother that is buried by his father beneath a tree with the word Colorado written on it. A year after his father's death, Gus sets fire before deciding to leave to find his mother. The fire alerts a nearby hunter and his location who tries to murder Gus for sport. The hunters are visibly surprised Gus can speak and are soon killed by Tommy Jeopard, a lone traveler who tries to leave Gus behind. Instead, Gus follows Jeopard, insisting he escort him to his mother in Colorado. Jeopard resists, but still protects Gus as he won't leave him alone. Woo, that was a long premise. All right. So let's get into this show. Chuck.
Yes.
What did you think about the setting, right? The design, the special effects, the look of Sweet Tooth?
I enjoyed it actually. It fit what I thought modern day world would look like. Especially after a massive world extinction pandemic. I thought it looked really good. I thought the place. I mean, we had at the very beginning, it was just them in the forest, right? So I was like, oh, this is nice. They just shot it in the forest for the most part. But when they got to the city, I thought it represented a dystopian type of world. That's not too far dystopian. They didn't push it all the way out there. Like it's falling down that way. So interesting. I'm watching another show that's so similar, and I'm like, okay, I can see where this is going. I enjoyed it. I thought it fit the world. It felt very color booky in a weird sense, like fairy tale-y a little bit too, and I kind of like that.
Okay.
Like Emblem.
So, Syntell, like
So,
pacing is really important to a show, and by pacing I mean, did it move swiftly? Did it move slowly? Were the action sequences too long and frequent? Did it really keep your attention? So, how do you feel about the overall pacing of this show?
the pacing on a scale of 1 to 10 was probably maybe like a 7. I'll give it maybe a 7. It had its moments where it moved kind of slow. I think a lot of the slowness was attributed to a lot of these varying storylines not connecting until the very, very end. So you're just kind of like in kind of like no man's land listening to these different perspectives. So I thought that kind of added to the slowness. Some of the action moments were like PG-13, to kind of piggyback on what Chuck was saying regarding like the scene and the dystopian look. It's very color booky. Nothing is like overly violent, overly grotesque. So when the world is falling apart, it doesn't, it's not gonna like beat you over the head with it, So it's just safe. The whole world still feels relatively safe. So that kind of might have added to the slowness of the pace as well. Because at the end of the day, I think it's made for kids. So,
And that's one of the things I want to follow up with you, Courtney. So this is based off a comic book, and in the comic book, it appears to be a lot darker. The author of the comic book, he noted this, and the showrunner and the author of the comic book decided to make it lighter, to make it more acceptable. Do you think this helped with the telling of this story by transitioning, making it a lot more lighter than what the original comic was?
That's hard for me to say. Uh, I understand that. At least it makes me happy that the writer was involved and the comic book creator supported this plan. I don't know if that's what they had to sacrifice in terms of selling the property to Netflix to distribute. I don't think it necessarily. I don't think it hurt it. I think it helped in terms of like allowing for a younger audience to watch it, and that's probably a larger reach, and therefore obviously a season 2 pretty much guaranteed. If you can get the viewers and kids watching, then absolutely. For me personally, I'm never a big fan of dumbing down a property in terms of like allowing it for children, because if you wrote it for children, you'd have written it for children.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I would like to have seen the Sweet Tooth that the comic book was based on per se. I do think that there are a couple elements that were better told in the TV series than in the comic book. There are certain elements I think that just worked better.
Okay.
In my
So
opinion.
are we in agreement that they kind of made this for kids, or at least a younger audience?
They made it so kids, I think, wouldn't have nightmares. It's bad enough that it came out during a pandemic. So to see certain elements of people covering their faces, people getting temperature checks, people being separated from families, I can imagine it was more of the mental probably aspect than it was necessarily even the violence per se.
Would you guys, sit down with your 12 or 11-year-old son, daughter, niece, and watch this series?
yeah, and I did. I think even though it's not over the top with the violence and the gore, a lot of the horrible stuff is implied. Don't get me wrong, the idea of horrible things going on is definitely there. It's there, but you just don't see it. So you still have like moments of kind of happening, but without the blood splatter and all of that.
Yeah. The murdering kids. They just don't show
Yeah,
it.
I mean, testing on them.
Yeah.
There's no way to like get around that. Is that they're dissecting and doing testing, human testing on babies, and children. I think the sound design was a huge aspect of the audience feeling the danger that the characters were in, between the music and the ominous noises and sounds and buildup. There was a lot relied on the sound design, and I think it definitely worked. It wasn't too much, and it didn't take me out like, okay, here we go. There's the music, so obviously something bad's about to happen. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought the cinematography was stunning.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I certainly agree with that. Can I just add one more small thing? Well, because I mean, if you think about it, like the opposite of this would be a movie like Brightburn, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you have this kid with superhero type powers, and he's doing these absolutely horrible, despicable things, and it turned a lot of people off. Because you're having these kids doing that, and I'm pretty certain, the people that put this show together, that put Sweet Tooth together, probably did their homework regarding Brightburn and realized if we're gonna, make it this kid friendly, we probably should tread lightly on how over the top we go with it.
Agreed.
I mean, this isn't the first time that like we've had a child. I mean, and this kid was like charming and lovely. Even in the comic books, he was very much, the hero. He wasn't never like, like the demon seed. But I mean, we got people like Damien, the good son. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I think it's just this day and age. There are a lot of people that had obviously had a lot of sensitivity and feelings growing up, and now they're the adults, and they still having their sensitivities and feelings, and don't want to watch certain stuff.
Damien,
and that's fine.
Was my dude. That was my dude.
Yeah,
but Culkin and the good son. He was my favorite. He was so awful. It was great.
But would those properties have the same success today, given the type of culture regarding violence, kids, people being highly offended very quickly? We live in a culture now where being offended will have your entire property destroyed quickly. So do those same films in the past hold up today? Does The Good Son hold up today?
Yeah. But how far do we go?
I mean,
back
that's what I was saying, is that it's about sensitivities and the people that are having their own sensitivities, whether it was from what things that they watched or experienced growing up, and or whatever is led and or driving this culture today. I don't know. I think The Good Son would hold up. I don't know about I think Damien would too, because you got The Purge, you got all the Annabelle, you got all that stuff.
Wasn't that far ago? Like, it's kids.
Brightburn was 3 years ago.
Yeah, so it's interesting. All right, so let's delve into the show. In our pilot episode, we've got Gus and his father. They're living at Yellowstone Park, isolated from the world, quarantined. This connection, it resonated with me. I'm interested to know, how do you all feel about the relationship between Gus and his father that we encounter at the beginning? Cortney, what do you think?
Well, I guess for me, it's hard to talk about Gus and his father without talking about Wendy and Amy, because for me, it's the difference between a parent raising their child in fear versus a parent raising their child in love, because Wendy is a completely different child than Gus is. And I think that even though Amy prepared her for the world, Gus's father didn't prepare him for the world. He prepared him to be afraid. He prepared him to like run from humans, stay away from everybody, stay in the woods, don't talk to anybody, and just be afraid, without even telling him why he should be afraid. So to me, it's hard, because it was kind of like he did Gus a disservice, because he sent him out, left him in a world without any real information other than how to like cultivate plants and get sap from trees. So I guess, he was thrown into it himself. He didn't plan on being a dad, but I think he did best he could, I
Yeah.
guess.
What about you, Syntell? You got any thoughts on the relationship between Gus and his dad?
Well, the whole he did the best he could thing is to me was like the focal point of that relationship. First off, he didn't ask for this; it was thrust upon him in a very extraordinary circumstance. Um, and then there's the dialogue that goes on with Big Man, and he's explaining that moment when he had to be confronted on what it means to be a father, and he has to make a very difficult choice. I don't want to spoil it right now, but that that decision it carries like a really big weight, and you're not necessarily always going to get it right. Just because you are the dad doesn't mean you're going to make every right decision. And with Gus's dad, this is a man who reads Tom Sawyer. He's a janitor. He's not built for this. And the only thing he knows in that moment is just survive. So I thought he was a good dad given the tools that he was given, because he did give him love. I mean, him dragging around that sock puppet that he made out of his own socks was the example that kind of sticks out the most. He gave of himself to his son. He gave of his life, everything. So I think it was raised in love, but it was a different kind of training that was involved. He was raised in fear and to run, and the other necessary relationships weren't.
And I thought so too. Like, I mean, he didn't even date the mother. Like, he met this chick at a bar, and he's thinking he gonna get some, and they break it into a government facility, and the next thing you know, he's the father of a hybrid child. And to take that responsibility on, I think it's huge. I don't know if I would have been up for the task.
In that situation,
So Chuck, man,
in that situation, it's gonna be nah.
What's up?
Yeah, how do you feel about when we start to pile it off, Gus and his relationship with his father?
I thought his father taught him nothing, absolutely nothing. He's a piece of crap. That little boy
Really?
had that boy for
Crap?
yes. You had this little boy for 9 years, and you were in the woods, and you knew you had radio. You didn't have radio silent. You knew they were hunting hybrids, and you didn't prepare him to be hunted. You didn't prepare him at all to be hunted. And then you caught the disease, and you knew you had the sickness, and you didn't prepare him for anything, you even passing. You didn't even prepare him for you even passing.
Wait, hold on. I just want to clarify the scene. He didn't catch the virus. He had the virus and attempted to give the virus to the last man, and also infected himself with the needle. That was my interpretation in the fight.
Just kill him and got it.
Yeah.
Well, you kill him with the virus. He had the needle. He had the
Was
needle
that the
on
virus?
the virus.
I didn't know they disclosed that was the virus.
Yeah, but it was a purple vial, and he was trying to kill that man. And that was because he wasn't a fighter. He didn't have a real gun. He had a fake gun.
Was that a fake gun?
And that
when he was standing by the thing. When he was standing by the fence.
And that is the argument as to why he may not have been able to properly prepare him. Like, it's not like he was a commando and he's going to be teaching Rambo.
He was a janitor one moment.
He's a janitor. He wiped floors for a living. Like, I don't know what kind of out of the world preparation he was supposed to have. He taught him how to live off the land. I mean, they lived off the land for 10 years, long enough so that a 10-year-old boy could survive on his own for an entire year in the wilderness. That's some preparation.
Yes, you prepare that.
But he told him there were
like,
fires everywhere, and that everybody was, he didn't tell him other than the fact that people got sick and died. He didn't tell him anything about what happened in the world.
I'm not saying the brother ain't wrong. I think the brother's wrong too, but I think that's the theme for a lot of this, is that there's a lot of gray in this when it comes to what your responsibilities are and the things that you're willing to risk for the people that you love. That is like the reoccurring theme from what I've seen in the TV show. Yeah. And it may be different in the comic.
If I got a kid one day from tomorrow and I had to go into the woods to survive, I would struggle.
Really?
That ain't for everybody. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I would struggle. So for me, looking at his relationship, I'm like, I thought he did the best that he could. Did he make mistakes? Yeah, but
when he met the woman, I think if you go back and watch that episode when he meets her, he talks about being a fisherman, being outdoors, an outdoors type of guy. He talks about being outdoors type of guy.
It's one thing to be outdoors, and it's one thing to be a survivor.
No, but he talked about camping. He talked about fishing. He talked about being that guy.
Man, his sons lived a year off of those teachings.
Yeah.
By himself at 10 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
He raised that child to 9 years.
Listen,
so he's doing something right.
I'm a great dad, all right? I don't deny that. But if I threw my 11-year-old son in the woods, he ain't surviving a year.
He's not surviving. My daughter's just not surviving.
Wait,
and I'm
here's
a great
the thing. For me, I guess it's not about the survival aspect of like surviving in the woods per se. Listen, if somebody gave me a baby tomorrow and I got all the amenities of Ralph's, Trader Joe's, and Target in my hand, I'm going to struggle. Okay. But what I'm saying is that it's like not preparing him for telling him that hybrids are being hunted, not telling him that a hybrid child is not what is humanity is used to. That's like you, Trey, taking Cairo into the woods, raising him from baby on up to 9 and not telling him you're a black man. You're going to grow up to be black. And going out into a world, into a white world, you're going to have problems. They're going to, situations are going to develop. And that's
a very good point.
That is the correlation of what I am trying to suggest.
That's a very good point, but it's a little bit skewed. Let me just explain why. Because I am of the same nature of that child, that holds true. The real equivalent would have been like if I'm a white man and then there's a black kid that I'm raising, because the father was not a hybrid. A hybrid doesn't know what that pain and battle is going to be. No more than a white man would know what a black.
But the father knew for 9 years.
But that is a very good point, though. That is
he knew for 9 years they were hunting and killing hybrids.
Yes, right. So even if it, regardless of whether, like, if it was still, I think it's. I hear your point, and I absolutely agree. If it was a white father raising a black child, 100%. But I also think if Cairo is seeing you and only you for 10 years, he doesn't even know people of other ethnicities exist. That's what, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't know there are other hybrids out there like him. He didn't even know that was a thing. He thought he was alone. I agree that
the father messed up, though. I agree.
I think the father made mistakes. I think he made mistakes.
I think he made poor choices. I think he made
and that's what causes the mess up. Those poor choices is called messing up.
Man,
that's why I compared it to Amy. Like, Amy still took Wendy out into the world. They went to the mall. They went shopping. They had little adventures, but she also knew that this was a world that was
people are hunting
for her.
Yes. We'll talk about that too, because I'm like, he's older than her, and you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell.
Let's move on. So Gus, he leaves the woods. He meets big man. How we feeling about the big man? Are we all right with the big black man and protect the little white kid and scaring and everything?
Remind me of Soul.
It remind you of what?
Soul. Remind me of Soul. Remind me of Soul.
I didn't see that, but that's funny.
Remind me of Rob Dydrick and Big Rob. That's what it reminds me.
Dude, it remind me of Sophia and the white woman in Color Purple. That's all black people we've been to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we're magical.
Remind me of the hell.
You know what? I'm so used to the mantra.
Big magical Negro.
I'm so used to the mantra that I almost kind of like shrug it off. It's like, well, they're gonna go for it.
You know what? I just I was like, okay.
Yeah. You know what makes it bad?
The character in the comic. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I
was gonna say. Go ahead, Courtney. Go ahead.
Sorry. So I was gonna say, I'll be fast. The comic book character in the story was a white man, and he was a hockey player. And so I saw it as this is an opportunity to cast this role in another ethnicity. And I do think the actor that played Jeopard, I thought he was wonderful. I thought he did a really good job. I thought he was heartfelt and engaging and endearing. I responded to him. So yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Chet.
Chuck, what were you gonna say?
You know who you remind me of? I think it may be the same actor. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up to see if it's the same exact
thought
actor.
Don't
Michael
say the
Clark
Big
Duncan.
Mile because that
Yeah.
Michael Clark Duncan
Clark
died.
Duncan.
Nah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that neither. Hold on, I was
Oh,
gonna say that.
hey,
Don't disrespect me like I don't know who Michael Clark Duncan
No,
is.
I would not. No, I said it reminded me of Michael Clark
Okay,
Duncan.
okay.
Think that I said when Randy said it, I said, well, he died, so it's not him.
Yeah, I just was
at
saying
least he
Exactly.
it
wasn't a big
reminded
dumb
me of
black
him.
man.
Because it's like that's a trope. You even see it in like today's society. You always see celebrities with big fat black men, and you're like, those dudes are not going to be effective
It is
if
the
something
same
really jumps
character.
off.
It is the
And,
same
and
character.
you're like, Secret Service guys
Oh my
don't look
god.
like these big black security guards, and they're the best trained security forces in the world. So we go get a big black guy, and I'm just like, oh boy.
It is the same character. I thought it was
Is it?
him.
So
Same
Nonso
actor.
Anozie is the
Yeah,
actor's name.
that's the actor.
He also played the same role in Artemis Fowl as Artemis Fowl's
he
bodyguard.
did. He
Oh
sure did.
yeah.
I
That
haven't seen
was
Artemis Fowl.
him.
Oh
That
yeah, I
was
knew I
him.
knew him.
He's
I
known
knew.
as the black guy who
That's
protects
a,
little white boys.
that's another
Damn.
character. That character,
Damn.
I actually read every single book in that series. So that's another character that was white. Was
Mhm.
Butler was written white, and
Mhm.
they cast him. So I mean,
Okay.
he's
Well,
a good
we
actor.
get another companion then. So we're gonna move on, and we get another companion in Bear. Like I have to admit, she's my favorite character in this series. I
Yeah.
Mhm.
loved her.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Please tell
when
me
they
why.
I just loved how her leadership. I loved how they attacked. I loved how they saved Gus and Big Man from the whatever they were.
The
I
last
The
love
man.
last
that.
man.
Yeah, the last man. I just thought she was a really cool character, and I thought she really cared about Gus. Syntell, how do you feel about Bear?
I mean, she was all right. I couldn't shake. Do you remember? Do you remember that show, Roseanne, and one of the daughters, Darlene?
Yes,
Was in that?
Darlene.
I couldn't
Darlene.
shake that. I'm like, yo, is that Darlene? I'm like, is that?
Arlene's
Okay.
like 45.
So here's the. I know. I'm just being a jerk. Okay, so here's the thing. They set me up for a fall, and I was and because of that disappointment, I judged her because of this. And in that episode, they went on and on about leaders being born, and she's going to be this leader, and then you see her playing the VR game, and she's getting her troops together and stuff like that. And then barely an episode later, she gets stripped of her leadership and kicked to the curb, and I never saw her be a leader ever again. So I was initially expecting like, I don't know, just like Cyclops type leadership. Like she's gonna get the group together and tell them what to do and point them in the right direction, and because that's how they set the stage. And she ended up just being another tag along in their group. So I was just a little disappointed that it didn't turn out the way I thought they were setting it up.
Mm. Cordy, you're like rolling your eyes, so I guess you have some strong feelings about this character.
I mean, she was just like Dorothy. You got the scarecrow with the little horns, and then you got the cowardly lion, and now you got Dorothy. Only missing the Tin Man.
So you
Um,
so you
I
had a
I
problem
didn't.
with
I had I guess I shouldn't say I had a problem with her. I thought the actress did a solid job, or apparently in the way she was directed. Um, my problem was in the writing of the character. For me, I saw a harsh white teenager with an attitude. And I admittedly, she suffered an apocalypse, was abandoned at 6 years old, and obviously had issues with adults.
Mhm.
I give her that. I'll give her that. But at some point in time, you decided to join you sat up in a tree. You chose to sit up in a tree and wait for them, knowing that Gus had an attachment to this man. So to spend 2 episodes bickering and to listen to her sound like a teenage Karen was irritating for me. It was really irritating for me. And I didn't really get any redemption of that. Like, she never made a bonding, a redemptive conversation with Jeopard per se. It
Mm-mm.
was just like Gus said, fist bump, and I need you to be good. I need you to be cool. And I didn't see that bond build other than like, they're sitting in a chair like, are we going to tell him? No, you tell him. No, you tell him. When did y'all really make up? So I guess that was my problem, is that she
Mm.
went hard one way and we're just supposed to accept that now she's okay. I don't know.
But
She
do
was
we
okay.
do we give these characters, at least Gus and Bear, do we give them any leeway because they are kids? What is she, 13, 14 years old? Gus is 9 or 10 years old. I mean,
She's 16.
do we start to know? Okay, if she's 6, but they're teenagers and they're kids, and we
Yeah.
are looking at these things from the lenses of
You're
adults.
soft on kids, dog. You
Am I
just
soft on kids? Is that what it
dog.
is?
Well,
You ain't been around
no,
these kids,
that's what I
have you?
said. Yeah, me neither. I've been in the teaching. I've been in the school system, so
You
I
been
got 'em a
around
little
these
bitter.
kids.
but
You
but
thinking it's Goonies? Nah, this ain't Goonies. These kids are killers. They in the
I agree with
purge.
Syntell about
She was running
the
five-man
way that she
squads.
was introduced into the scene, the way that she saved, like even her whole storyline, fact that she adopted the identity of a bear because she wanted to protect the one she loved. I do respect that, and I do respect that, like she built this community of kids that were like-minded like her. It was just the first time that they were tested. This was really because they just had one mission and one agenda, whereas she was evolving and the other kids were still Lord of the Flies. You know what I'm saying? Like Tiger was just angry, and just bought into the concept of a tiger. But Bear did grow. I just needed her growth to continue since you chose to be Dorothy in this little troop. Like why can't you calm down and accept the role you chose? You chose it. You sat in a tree and waited.
So
Get off the broom. Stop
let's switch
acting like a
gears a
little
little bit.
witch.
Let's switch gears a little bit. So, Dr. Singh, I think that's his name, Dr. Singh. He's the doctor. So,
Yes.
in this series, right? I mean, we got pandemics, we got, mercenaries. But to me, like one of the scariest things in this show is like the suburbs. The suburbs, that party that they had and threw that dude, and when he exhibited signs of the illness, and they taped him up and then they burnt the damn house down. Chuck, what do you think about this?
It's about right. I thought that was about right. I think I would have done it too. I would have burned his ass up. He would have been in that house burnt to death. Matter of fact, I might have burned everybody else. I would have saw it, walked out, and burned everybody in there, locked the door, and that'd been it. I've been the only person on the block.
Chuck, you didn't tell us about your feelings about Bear either.
Oh
Since
man.
since you're on a roll.
Oh man. My only issue with Barry is she should have killed Jepper earlier. If she was really about that life, I thought she should have killed him earlier. I was like, man, you ain't about that life. You supposed to kill that man.
I thought they should have killed him too.
No, they should have killed him earlier.
I
They
thought
should
they
have killed him
should've killed
earlier.
him.
They should have killed him
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they just randomly kill last man everywhere. Here's the last man tattoo. He's with the little boy. You don't know what he means to that little boy. I think they should have killed him.
Yeah, I thought they should have killed him
I
too.
thought they should have killed him.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
I totally understood Tiger. Like, look, he has all the marks of the last man. He has a hybrid here. We don't know why this hybrid's winning. We don't understand why this hybrid's winning. This hybrid can talk. This one is different. We're here to protect the hybrids, and he's with this big black man, and I'm a little white girl. Let's kill his ass.
I think it would have been honest if they would have killed him.
But okay, here's the thing.
There's no thing in that.
Wait, let me finish. Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, you do have a little hybrid who can talk,
Uh-huh.
who is telling you his little feelings, who jumps in front of his body
Stockholm syndrome.
when you're
Boom.
attempting to kill him.
Yeah.
Munchausen syndrome.
mean,
Boom. Pick
They
one.
would have lost him. They would have lost God. He would not have. Their mission would have failed in that moment.
I would have told him that he tried to fight us and we killed him.
Okay. But didn't you think the tiger scene was pretty dope? Because that's when I thought Tiger was wrong. Because this little boy legitimately talked to a tiger and has control
Stockholm
over
syndrome.
animals.
Why?
And you,
Go ahead, Courtney. Please go ahead.
oh no, I was done. Go ahead. I said
No,
it.
the only thing that I was saying was like he's a deer though. Why does he have power to talk to tigers?
Talks to
And
animals.
They haven't really explained that.
Yeah,
And a
we haven't
deer
gotten that
is
far
like the
yet.
most meekest, weakest animal. And I was wondering why a tiger would listen to a hybrid deer.
Well, Randy, what you're doing is not reading the
Well,
comics and
I
not
haven't
far
read
enough
the
in the
comics.
future.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't answer those questions because I got cliff notes from somebody who read the comics.
Okay.
So she explained all those things to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
So
they
I don't
didn't
want
No
to give it
explain.
spoilers.
away.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away for anybody other than to say that Gus is special, that he has abilities to
Randy, you
communicate.
trying to add logic into a fictional show
That's
about
like
kids
asking
being
why Aquaman.
hybrids?
But that's like
We
asking
do it all
why
the time.
Aquaman
What are y'all
can
talking
talk to
about?
sharks.
Yeah.
Aquaman talks to sharks,
Yeah.
dolphins, blowfish. He talks
Yeah.
to
He's the
the
king of the
entire
sea.
aquamarine.
He's the
You know
Yeah.
king
what
of
I'm
the
saying?
sea.
But
the
don't
king of
mean
the
nothing
sea.
that he
believe
can
that
see to a
ghosts.
shark.
Yeah, he's the king of the sea. I can see that.
Who says
He's
the king of the
ocean
sea?
master. He's ocean
He's
master.
he's always been referred to as the king of the sea.
That's what other humans refer
Yes.
to him as. But those animals in the sea
Well,
think of him as.
They listen to
they
him, so they
do.
must think he's king of the sea too. But we're deviating. from-
Okay, we're deviating. We
I'm
all
gonna let
we
y'all
off
know
topic.
something.
But wait,
Maybe
but like
Gus is
Gus,
king of the animals, huh?
Maybe he is.
Maybe he's
That's
king of
just
the
not.
animals. Then.
It's
If
just
that
not
like-
clearly articulated that he's the king of the animals.
Hey, they don't have to spoon feed me on that. I was like, okay, he talks to animals. Okay.
All right, so let's Dr. Singh real quick. So he's.
oh yeah,
like-
Dr. Singh. I had a comment on the Dr. Singh.
Yeah, I was just saying, he wants to save his wife. He's lying, but he's doing it for her. Syntell, he's a good guy, bad guy. You agreeing with him or are you disagreeing with him?
I like the character. He's whiny. He gets on my nerves. But at least he has an arc. Because he starts off as this he's doing it for the cause. He's doing it because he loves people. He's got great bedside manner, and then you just see it get chipped away. And each episode is chipped away even more. The humanity of the thing that he loves to the point that he stops doing it, and then he starts making difficult choices to save humanity. But then he's got to like deal with. Is he doing right for everybody or doing right for one person? I mean, he's got a lot of stuff. He's got a lot of battles. To me, I think he has the most battles out of anybody else in the series. So I like the idea of the character. I think the actor's doing a decent job, but he still can be, slightly annoying. But I think he's got the most depth out of anybody else on the show.
When that horse killed that neighbor, I rolled laughing.
Listen, that was Mrs. Dursley. That was Mrs. Dursley.
Yeah, I was like, yes.
I love to hate her. I loved hating her.
I mean, that
was
wasn't
gonna
the actress. That wasn't the actress that played Mrs. Dursley. That's just the feeling
Right,
that
the
I
kind of
got
character.
from
No, I got you.
Yeah.
her. My only problem was number one, it was broad daylight. Number two, nobody in the neighborhood saw that horse kick the shit out of her.
They were the only
And
two.
number three, but
I think they're
the
the only two
horse
residents.
killed her.
Yeah.
The
Just- you
legitimately,
got
the horse
real
killed
alibi.
her.
He was gonna
Real
try to help
alibi.
her, then his wife was like, no.
No, she was dead. There was nothing to help. So why not tell the rest of the neighborhood the horse kicked her?
Same thing.
Yep.
I don't know.
I'm like, you
Would
didn't
they
do
believe
it.
that though? Would
That's
the
all.
neighbors-
I mean,
You literally
See
got
the
a
hoof
horse
print?
print.
His hoof print.
Hoof
He's got a hoof
in
print.
her body.
Yeah, he's got a hoof
print
print.
in her chest. Yes, that doesn't make any sense.
You say
put
she
her
came
in
over to the
freezer?
house and she left the house and she went over near the horse and the horse kicked her.
Just crazy to me
That's
because
what I
my
thought,
only-
too.
the world's greatest horse person, and I know
I don't
never
know if
run
I
up behind
believe
a
that.
horse ever.
If I'm a
Never
neighbor, I don't know if I believe that.
emotional and agitated around a horse. That's a terrible idea. Horses
But I don't know if
are
I'm
like
a neighbor
total
and you give me that
empaths.
story that I believe you.
I mean,
And
you know,
then
they
the
burn your house
neighborhood
quick, though. To
But-
Randy's point, they burn your house quick. Like,
Right?
quick.
They burnt down a neighbor and was singing lullabies. I don't know if they're gonna believe the horse
They
kicked
sang
her.
Old Lang Syne. That's like the New Year's song.
New Year's song, yeah.
But like,
Whatever
I
it is,
mean-
they watched the person burn to death and was singing outside. And so you come with the
and
the horse
eating,
kicked
and
him.
eating his pecan pie. They had
Yeah,
the nerve
so
to
you
eat that
come-
man's pecan pie.
So you
Mhm.
come, the horse killed him. Like,
I
know
would
if the
I would
neighbors
say,
would believe that.
if then you showed me the hoof print, I'd be like, okay, the horse kicked him, killed her.
Yeah.
They quick to scream witch.
And they didn't want to kill the doctor. They wanted to kill him. He's the doctor, Randy. He had value to the community.
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
They was
and-
gonna burn his ass up.
Yeah,
too
when they
found out
realized he
his
was
wife
sick, when he had the
Well,
sickness,
they realized he was
was
exposed.
exposed to
But
the
can we
sickness.
talk?
And she was
But
like,
here's
she's
my
not
big problem.
contagious. Yeah, they were literally burning his ass up.
But
It's
Randy,
the-
that because he was exposed, they thought he had the
Because
sickness.
he
but,
was
but if he
exposed.
didn't have
Right.
the sickness, the another neighbor came to him and was like, "Look, we're grateful that you're here, and we're grateful for all the work you do. We're grateful for you being a great doctor." He was like, "Yo, She came over to the house. We were talking, and she left, and she went to go pet the horse, and the horse kicked her. And I happened to come outside and see her. Hell, if he would have been, if he'd been slick, he should just left her there, left the horse.
He should have left her there,
and let somebody come
and
and find
I would have
her.
went running down the street, hysterical, like somebody help, somebody help. I'd have put on a damn good show. I'd have put on a hell of a show.
He's an Indian dude in that white neighborhood,
and he's the only doctor in town. He's the only doctor in town. Man. But here's what I want to know.
Y'all just told me why you trying to apply logic. When white people been logical about shit with minorities?
That's true. That's true.
They had a black lady up in that mob. Just so I mean,
that's true too.
What else was she gonna say? I don't agree with what y'all doing. This is wrong. This ain't with Dr. King. She gonna be like, yeah, burn them up.
Yeah, that's what
the next person they gonna burn is her.
But can we talk about saran wrap? How much saran wrap do you think that it really took for them to roll up two people and they couldn't get out? I wanted to wrap myself up in saran wrap just to find the fuck out, because there is no way, unless they got like 99 boxes of Costco saran wrap, that they were able to, number one, wrap up the big dude in the house they just burnt. Now they got a bunch of saran wrap left to buy. I mean, maybe some duct tape, but some fucking saran wrap?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Burning to my mind. Cortney wrapped up in saran wrap. Around.
Saran wrap's a real thing, Courtney. I know we saran wrap people before.
You saran wrap yourself?
Oh yeah, not myself, but we saran wrap people where they couldn't get out. It doesn't take much.
This is like how many licks to the center of a Tootsie Roll pop?
It's about
how long did it take you to wrap up somebody in
about
the
10 minutes?
Saran wrap?
About 10-15 minutes. They couldn't get out.
And how many boxes of saran wrap?
Just one. Just one. We didn't use the whole box. We didn't even use the whole box. Dead serious. We're
gonna have to do this at the beginning of next week's.
We got a binge? We got a binge bet? Do we got a binge bet?
I'm gonna have to go over. I'm gonna have to go over to Chuck's.
You want to
I'll go over to Chuck's and let him spin me around in a saran wrap
we got a binge bet going on.
Saran wrap.
I was saran wrap. If your hands behind your back, you will not get
out of it. I love it.
Not get out of it. Trust me.
That is the absolute new bet. Run it.
Okay. I'm down. Because it does work.
I need to know, because I don't believe it works.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, Benji. We got a binge bet with Courtney being wrapped up in saran wrap. We got it, baby. It's going down here at the BingeWorthy podcast.
It's going down.
Yes, because I don't believe it.
You brought up a point about what's her name? Amy. So that's something I thought was a missed opportunity. I didn't think her arc got explored enough. Chuck, how do you feel?
I thought her arc was interesting. I like the fact that she stayed into that office. She's like, I ain't leaving the office. I'm staying right here. Yeah, I'm gonna let all hell. I'm gonna let all hell break loose. I'm gonna eat everybody's food up in here and go to these vending machines. And
I was like, where is the everybody food? Got a mini fridge? I didn't see enough
there's
food.
Vending machines too. So I like the fact that she was there for the whole entire time, and she was like, I'm not leaving this office. Everybody left the office. Nobody's gonna check for people in the office. Makes total sense. Nobody needs money anymore. There's no need for that. You check people's homes because that's where people are gonna hide. And I thought that was smart. And she came out, who knows how many years or how many months later. She probably left, got some food, came right back into the office. Smartest thing done.
Yeah, she was kind of a badass, right?
She was a badass.
She was fearless, and she went out there, and even when she got the baby, you said, to your point earlier, Courtney, she raised her to survive. Syntell, what do you think about that dynamic between Amy and the baby that she was raising?
You can't hear?
Can you hear?
Okay, I got you. Okay, it just came back in. Say that again, brother.
I was just saying, what do you think about the dynamic between Amy and the baby she was raising?
Yeah, she seemed to be more sensible. And just what? No.
No, she's way more sensible.
Right. She's way more sensible.
Yeah. She taught her how to survive in the realms and world of the zoo, and then she did take her out. I thought the cooking scene was really good. I'm sure we'll probably see that back again. She'll probably be cooking for the other kids at a later time. And she got that fire to leave like booby traps. I thought that was pretty dope. I'm curious to see what what the future holds for her, because she may have some importance in season 2, which I think she will.
Hey, she's kind of about it too. Let me
Yeah,
put
she
that
had
in
the
there
handgun too.
because she was like, "Yo, let's go get our kids."
Let's go. When Jep gets shot,
Mm-hmm.
she said, and that was a thing that bothered me too. Why didn't they kill Jep? Oh, Courtney, go ahead, Courtney.
First of all, I'm sorry. Let's talk logistics. I started to draw a map, but here's the problem I had with that damn scene.
Mm-hmm.
The truck came from, what was it? The east. The truck came from the east. He's
Northeast.
facing the north. Okay. Yep. And he's facing north. So how did he get shot, fall backwards, and the truck still come up from the east? Where's the shooter?
And y'all said I'm applying logic. We just got a great geography lesson here on the Binge-Worthy podcast.
I actually just assumed the shooter was somewhere else. Like they had a sniper out and shot him. That's why I actually wrote it up.
Where? I just
never saw
where.
the sniper. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's a guy that runs the military.
I needed to see that extra run up and get in the truck because that didn't make any sense.
Maybe it's
for
not
me.
his
I was
job.
Why
like,
didn't they kill him?
They thought they
I
did
think
kill
they
him.
thought they did.
I mean,
thought
they
they
checked
did
his
kill
pulse, or
That
they
was
were
a
using out there to
shoulder
check the
wound.
pulse or something. Yeah,
No.
and they just walked
Now, when you
away.
put a sniper on somebody,
But you
Shoulder
would
wound.
check. Wouldn't you
Oh,
check
yeah.
the pulse or something? You'd be like, oh, he getting, that's it.
Wait a
You
minute,
would
y'all
want to
talking about
confirm that
realism.
you got your kill.
they thought he'll bleed out.
It-
If he lives, he'll
they
bleed out.
probably did think he would bleed
He'd
out.
bleed
They wanted
out.
it probably to be painful.
No, who's gonna come and get
Man.
him? Who's gonna come and get him?
I don't know.
Well, these
Evidently,
little
somebody
horns, they
did.
But yeah, see, they didn't expect that though, Randy. They
Yeah,
didn't
I'm like,
expect that.
you make sure to kill. You got one job as a sniper. You got one
that-
job to kill somebody.
And that's
So
what
you
you do.
ensure that you do
My
the
horn
job.
fell off.
See, you got the sickness and you a hybrid. Ugh, that's a double down. Double down.
Look away.
She really wants to get saran wrap, right? We got
She gonna get some saran wrap and hold that horn up there for you.
Yo, while we over here dissecting realism, ain't nobody gonna bring up the fast that all three of them
that's
can
not
run as
gonna
fast
stay.
as a train in full speed. Like
Don't get me
trains move
started.
like
Don't get me
50, 60
started.
miles an hour.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
But they was keeping up with it. I
They
was like,
keeping up.
this
and the
is a
fat man doing that
train.
was like his big ass is not gonna connect to that train.
And when
And if he
dropped-
does, who gonna pull his big ass
When
up
he-
on
when he-
him?
when he dove
Usain
for it.
Bolt can't catch
When
a
his
train. What are you
feet
talking
dragging, when his feet just dragging when he dove for it.
I don't know,
Like,
man.
the
I
magic
don't know
train
that
had me going.
Yeah.
Going. How they could see rivers through walls. I thought that was pretty dope. The river's right there. And I'm like, how the hell you see
But
that?
there was a window. There was a window.
He was
for
sitting
that.
down the river with the window was way up there. I'm like, how did you even see that? I was
Yeah.
like, okay. all right.
Yeah.
And then he
But you
pulls
know,
his
standing
stuff up.
up.
I'm like,
Um,
this
Standing
dude
up.
ain't did a pull up since he left the NFL. They need to stop with this, man.
They do. They
Stop pulling all
They
300-400
do.
pounds
They
of
do.
that
I said,
up.
when his legs be dragging, when
Yeah,
he, his
man.
legs been
But I
dragging.
mean, they had him having his football moment. His adrenaline rush drove him,
I
and
guess.
all this stuff. I mean,
Little punchy
I
friend.
just
Yeah, it
we
was
just
all
gotta
the way
buy
bad.
into
It
it.
was all the way bad. I was like,
Okay. So
mm.
I mean, we got these three different stories, right? We got
Mhm.
Gus and his crew, we got Dr. Singh and his
Oh,
crew,
God.
we got Amy and her crew. And I thought the story moved a little slowly. How did you guys feel about like our big reveal? And the big reveal is what? That Gus is a test tube baby. And to me, that seemed really anticlimactic that we went through all of this just to find this out. So how do you all feel about the big reveal? Chuck, Courtney, how you feel about the big reveal?
I was like, dude. It was like,
Whatever.
okay.
I was the same as Courtney. Like, oh, whatever. He's a test tube baby. Okay, that makes sense. Whatever.
And
Whatever.
See,
it makes
here's
sense.
my
Okay.
problem.
That makes
I'm gonna
sense.
tell
Okay,
y'all the
whatever.
truth.
Uh-huh.
Here's the problem. Before we decided to watch Sweet Tooth, like 2 weeks before, I think the week Sweet Tooth came out, I was at a friend's house and they were watching episode 7. So unbeknownst to me, I came into Sweet Tooth on episode 7. So I had, and of course, episode 7 is a reveal
right.
that he was a test tube baby. So that was my first interaction with the show. And I was like, so what's going on? So who is this? So what are they doing? Oh, he's a test tube baby. Okay.
Yeah.
At that point, it was ruined.
That's what I was like,
so
too.
there was no big reveal for me.
I didn't think it was a
I
big
thought-
reveal. I was like, he's a test tube baby. Okay.
Well, it seemed like we were building up, and this was the big reveal that we had, or that's how I felt. I
Man.
felt it was the big reveal for all these stories coming together.
If this
And,
big reveal was an
thought-
orgasm, it just didn't happen for me.
yeah, it just
It just didn't happen for me.
I
Zero.
thought
Zero. I'm telling my
the-
friends don't go to her anymore. Ever, never. Don't even look at her. No, it's that bad. Because the bigger reveal would be me if the general had a child that was a hybrid and was hiding that child. That would have been a big.
You mean
reveal.
Dr. Robotnik?
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik. Yes.
So how would we feel? I know
General
Trey,
Abbott.
Syntell, you love a good villain. How'd you feel about this villain?
I really wasn't moved. I was more infatuated with his collar popping skills more so than anything else. He definitely looks like somebody, like you said, like Dr. Robotnik, but I didn't really connect the dots on that.
Mhm.
I know that every single time he talked to somebody, he was 3 inches from their face, and I was like, "Dang, you have no respect for social distancing in the age of a
Maybe in
pandemic
his
that you just
culture,
went
that's
through."
what they do.
I mean, every scene is just it's like, yo, let my man breathe a little bit. Yo, can I have like one quick little small fallback? Regarding the reveal, I thought the bigger reveal was Bear discovering her sister, or us, the audience, discovering who Bear's sister was. To me, I thought that was the biggest reveal out of everything, and everything else was kind of like, okay, all right.
I did too. I agree with that. That was a bigger reveal for me that Wendy is her sister. I the whole time, even though I was thrown into the series in episode 7, I totally thought Wendy was going to be Big Man's daughter. And it wasn't until, because I didn't see the end of episode 7. So I didn't realize that he saw the little baby and that the little baby was a satyr, basically. You know, he had little goat legs or something like that. Which that was another reveal at the end of episode 8. Y'all saw that, right?
And the only reason I called it the big reveal, because that's like that scene where the series was pushing.
You
The only
saw
reason
you saw his son, right?
Yeah, his
I
son
thought
was-
that
Yeah.
might have been him. Yeah.
Yeah. I just called it the big reveal because it seemed like that's where the story was pushing. We get Gus, he leaves home, he's getting to Colorado, he's looking for his mother, and so we find out his mother isn't even
Not
his
his
mother. His
mother.
father wasn't even his father. I didn't
Yeah.
think the series was driving like a Bear's
Yeah.
character was driving to find out that she had a sister. Thought
Yeah.
it was cool to
I would
find
never
out.
thought. I would have
Plot
never
twist.
thought.
Yeah,
Wendy
it was a
was
plot
the
twist,
sister
but
because she's
I
black.
just thought the series was leading to what Gus was looking for, which is find out he's actually a test tube baby.
Yo, can I
That's
give a
no
shout out?
thing.
Can I give a shout out to the content creators for finding one of the ugliest ass kids on the show to dissect, that little iguana baby? I was like, yeah, that need to be killed with fire. I had no sympathy for that little child. I was like, yeah, that need to be dissected immediately.
Listen.
And his eye went one way and the other was standing. I was like, oh, you got to kill that right now.
I was hoping, I think that they should have talked to Jim Henson's crew if they really wanted a groundhog child and you want him to look like a little like Muppet like situation. Obviously the groundhog gave birth to that. That was not a human. I mean, that was like a groundhog.
Bobby, you didn't
gave
like
birth to
Bobby,
that, and
You
he
didn't
actually
like
walked
Bobby?
and
I
talked.
liked Bobby.
He
I
was
thought
terrible
all the graphics were
CG.
bad. Yeah, I thought it was
He was
all
terrible
bad.
CG.
The ears was
Terrible.
bad. I even thought Gus's little ears was bad.
Oh, I
They
thought
were.
his ears were pretty good. I was
I
like,
thought-
whoever is in control
felt
of those
like a
ears
fairy
is doing a
tale.
pretty good job.
It felt like
Yeah,
never-ending story type of.
I liked how
graphics.
they moved whenever he got
His
excited or
ears.
anything, but I just thought it was bad. I thought most of the
Yep.
look for the series was bad. Okay. So, I mean, for this series, it went 8 episodes, about 45 minutes to an hour. To me, it didn't get a lot done. Like, we're not in a better place at the end of this series than we were at the beginning. And I guess it leaves a lot of room for season 2. So, was it worth it going on this journey for what we discovered at the end of season 8?
Ooh, we're gonna,
episode 8.
Are we rating now? Then are you running us into the rating right now?
All right, let's rate it then. So
Okay.
let's rate it then. All right, for everybody
Okay.
out there, we rate each series that we watch. We have a binge-worthy scale. At a 5, it is a full binge out. That means this was just that shiznit. At number 4, it is called a full meal. While it's not a binge out, you thoroughly enjoyed it and you are welcome and you're looking forward to coming back. What you about to say
No, you
something?
got to go to the next one. I got a new
Yeah,
word for it.
3 is a mini meal.
I got a new word for that.
Okay, what's your word?
Value meal.
Okay, it's a value meal. It's
Yeah.
Courtney's giving a side eye.
Value meal. You know, go to Disney. If you go to McDonald's, get a value meal. It's like that dollar hamburger that doesn't really fill you up.
But a mini meal is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just not a good thing.
So
It's kind of
should
like,
a two be a
eh.
I think
value
of a
meal?
mini meal as TV dinner. You know what I mean? That's how I
Okay.
think of a mini
Right.
meal.
It's just like, it'll fill you up.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
edible, but it's
Okay.
not great.
I still want to use value meal somewhere.
And then a 2 is a snack.
Uh-huh.
It didn't fill you up at all. You just nibbled on it. You did it because you were bored or sitting at home. And number 1 is a cringeworthy, and that's just some old bullshit. Like, Chuck, why did you make me watch this?
Wow.
So to
Wow.
rate this, we're gonna start off with you, Syntell. How are you gonna rate? How you gonna rate Sweet Tooth?
I think this time it was fortunate that I didn't read the comic first. I'm almost certain that if I did read the comic first, I probably would have felt some kind of way about this regarding its more family oriented approach. So because of that, because I don't know where it initially came from. I was entertained, and I think it's a fun watch for a family. If you had kids and you want something that's relatively safe, this is it. It's got enough um, scare without showing you the blood and gore that can keep you satisfied and entertained, and just enough to keep your kids kind of like with their hands across their face. And I think the story's just okay. The special effects need work. It's definitely got some holes in it. So I can't give it a binge worthy. I don't even know if it's a full meal. Honestly, I'll probably give it like a mini meal. But that's not to say that I'm not going to watch the second season. And now that I know a little bit more about the backstory, I'm definitely going to read the comic. So yeah, a mini meal.
Mini meal. All right, Chuck, how you gonna rate this?
Man, you already know how I'm gonna rate this. I'm gonna rate
Value
it.
Share
meal?
with the audience how you're gonna rate it.
Man, I'm gonna give it a mini meal. I'm giving a mini meal for one reason only. Gus got on my nerves. I wish they would have killed that little boy. By episode 3, I was, man, he got on my nerves. All the calamity that happened in this show was due to Gus doing something stupid, running off into the shipyard near the trains, wanting to get dog back, crossing the bridge when he had no business doing it, climbing through the fence from the episode 1, and all the calamity in this was because this little kid felt like he can do anything. He reminded me of them badass white kids that go into the department store and pull everything down.
Oh God.
And I was triggered the whole entire time. All I wanted to do was beat his ass. And instead, he had a big black guy protecting him with the little white girl whose emo is all outdoors. And I'm like, let that little boy die. Because he's not Wendy. Because Wendy is a prime example of how a child that's a hybrid being hunted is supposed to act. The boy, he was in the forest and started a fire in the middle of the day and almost burnt the whole damn place down.
Oh my God.
Like
All right, so
the
Chuck
first
Yeah,
thing,
they
Give
still
it-
haven't explained how he didn't burn the forest down, how there
Yeah.
was no wildfire. I mean, he set the whole
Exactly.
garden on fire.
yeah.
So Chuck, you're giving it a mini meal or a value meal. We'll work on that one. I'll go next.
Mhm.
I thought I liked the beginning of it. I did like the relationship between Gus and his father. I thought that was good. And I liked episode 2 where we meet Jep and we start to go on a little odyssey. Around episode 3 or 4, to me, it started to meander and it got really slow. And I started to lose interest in it. And I thought we had these different stories, which they really didn't connect until the end. And I thought then it was a poor job. And so, with it meandering and being slow, I can take slow, but I expect the payoff to be really big. To me, I didn't get a big payoff. Now, I know they wanted to set it up for season 2, and that's their prerogative. They can do whatever they want. But for 8 episodes, 45 minutes, near an hour, I didn't get the kind of payoff that I thought I should have got as I sat through this series. So, for me, I mean, I thought you guys have been really kind. I'm giving it a snack. It's a 2 to me. I'm not interested in seeing season 2 of this series. Of course, I mean, If it's decided by the powers that be at the Geekish Network, I'll watch it. But of my own volition, I'm not going to watch it. So I'm giving it a
Are
snack.
you seriously doing that? Okay.
I'm giving it a snack. So Courtney, take us home. Close us on out.
Courtney was gonna get us a full binge out, y'all. That's what she.
No, I'm not there. But I did think that there were other elements that I rated really high in terms of the cinematography, the use of music, and the acting, regardless of and the story. Like, given the fact that where the comic book was and what they were trying to do, I think that they accomplished that in terms of writing and the certain changes. Like the one time, like at the beginning when we started the show, I said there was one change that I thought from the comic to the TV series was better, and that was in the comic. Big Man turned over Gus. He turned him over in return for information about what happened to his wife. And in this one, Gus, being stupid, he fixed the radio and turned his damn self in. So I actually preferred to not see Jeopard be the villain in this moment of, like, you know, of him turning the little boy in order to get his wife back. And I liked the arc that Jeopard had, because he went through a full arc. Same with, like, Sang had an arc. I wanted more Amy. I didn't get enough Amy's arc. Like, why she choose the zoo? You know what I mean? Like, what, she didn't have a home? I understand why she stayed in her office, but she didn't have a home? I find that odd. She was a therapist. But yeah, I did like the little boy. I thought he was a really great actor. I thought he did a really good job to carry a show and still be entertaining. Yeah, he was irritating, Chuck. He got on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted somebody to give his little ass a spanking. I really did. I needed him. I needed the Jeopard character to be a black woman. I needed her to, like, black mama him. I really did. I think that should have been the diversity.
Black
change.
dad him. Well, you gonna learn today.
He didn't want to. He didn't want it. You gonna learn today.
You gonna learn today.
But he didn't want to be a dad at all. That's why I said be the black mama, because he was dealing with his own issues about having a hybrid child, the one that he could be a parent to as opposed to the one he couldn't. So it's not a binge worthy. I think I agree with you guys on the mini meal. You know, it's somewhere in between mini meal and full meal. It's not quite full, but, you know, it's not quite terrible. So I give it a.
You got a mini meal, so we got 3 mini meals. That's 9, and then we got a snack.
And Dr. Robotnik just ruined it for me, because every time he was on screen, I started laughing. And I just think the costume design either didn't watch Sonic, but they should.
So we came at 2.75. We'll round that up to 3, and it's a mini meal.
That sounds about right.
All right. So
yeah, it took me a while to finish this. Like, it took me I only forced myself to finish it today.
I did.
Because
I did too. I'm not interested.
Hey, y'all know I did it in one night. I watched everything but the last 15 minutes of the last episode. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I almost finished it. I did it all Friday night.
All the show.
And while
That's
I
how I
watched,
do.
I kept looking at my phone. I just kept looking at my phone.
Oh, it failed the phone test.
I was all in my phone.
Yeah,
but, like, I every single series, even the ones I didn't like, I didn't struggle as much as I did with this one. And I don't know what, because I thought I think for me, honestly, it was the emotional content. That little kid was, like, always in danger, and I didn't sign up for that. You know, I'm already watching a pandemic. I'm already watching a pandemic episode, like, series, so that's struggling for me.
Hey,
and that's triggering. That was completely triggering. And you got this little kids being hunted.
Yeah, when they were doing, I think it's episode 8, and the 2 guys are in the mask, and the one dude opens up and he's smoking his cigarette. He's like, "You shouldn't be doing that." And then he blows the smoke in his face, and they start fighting. I rolled, man. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, we're about 3 months away from
too.
Yep. Yeah, he took his mask off. I was like, but in America, we're about 3 months from there. We're about 3 months. All right, anybody? Syntell, you got anything else to say to take us out, man?
What's next? Oh, we'll talk about that off. Yeah,
We'll talk about that off camera.
Set y'all out.
Yeah, because here's the thing, Benjis. We always say we're gonna do one show, and then 10 minutes after we sign off, somebody has an idea. And they like change
His
the
name
show.
rhymes with luck.
I mean, do we have somebody named Shuck on the show? Man, who's this guy? Who's this
Just
butt,
saying,
who's
just
this butt
saying.
character? We got the Winter Soldier on the show. Who's the Soldier ain't on this show?
That was my favorite line that went under the radar is when Jeopard says to what's his name, Gus. He's like, "Come on, young buck." I'm like, that could be a derogatory phrase considering he's a damn deer.
Who you calling young buck?
Who you calling a buck? You see a buck around here?
That's like a swear word.
Oh,
Courtney, you got anything to say before we head on out?
Nope. We'll see y'all same bat time, same bat channel next week.
What about you, boss man?
I have nothing to say. Good night. God bless.
All right, so that
And
concludes
shout out to
our
Digital
show.
Click.
Yeah.
You'll do that.
Thank you for tuning in. As Chuck just said, shouts out to Digital Click, man. If you see all this beautiful artwork and everything out here, that's done by them. They do a great job of helping us to be our very best, to look our best in order for us to be our best. All right, so please follow us here on Twitch. And if you love what we are doing, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have an Amazon Prime, you can link your account and subscribe to us using your Prime Gaming. And it won't cost you anything, but it's going to help us out tremendously. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next Wednesday. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.